There's some misconceptions about barbecue. We consider ourselves closer to the artisan bakers because of the commitment. My name's Steele. I make barbecue. It took us 3 weeks before we started making money, and that's huge in the restaurant business. We just got picked by Zagat as highest rated restaurant in St. Louis and the highest rated barbecue restaurant in the United States. Bogart's is kind of I call it hybrid barbecue. So it's stuff that I've learned from working for Memphis chefs, Midwest chefs, Kansas City chefs, for some New York Hebrews, learning how to make pastrami. So here, we just kind of do what we want to do. I've always been very interested in cooking. From my early age, say 5, my mother said I was a saucier, meaning that I was always working with some kind of sauce. She said I would grab a bottle of ketchup and start bringing down spices and making barbecue sauce. My normal career was I loaded and unloaded steamships for a living. Well, it just exposed me to so much food, because I was traveling every single day of my career. I spent a lot of time in South America, in Asia, Central America, a lot of the islands, and it just exposed me to, the way people barbecue all over the world. I spend a tremendous amount of time experimenting. I think that I have a middle-of-the-road palate. If I like it, everybody likes it. If I think it's outstanding, everybody's gonna love it. I'm always in the middle of the road when I cook. I start out real light. I want the spices to enhance the meat, but I still want you to taste it. Here I wanted to do something a little different. I wanted to get a high caramelization of the sugars that we put on the meat. So then it dawned on me that I had seen guys melting tar with a roofer's torch. Take the ribs, skin the membrane off the back, put a seasoning on them that's been developed for 30 years. Put that on the ribs, throw them on the pit, let them smoke for 4 hours. When they come in, we're gonna give them a light brushing with an apricot syrup that we actually make here, and then they're gonna get hit with the blowtorch. And what it does is it caramelizes the sugars on top, opens up the pores of the meat, allows that thick sauce to go into the meat. It gives them a beautiful color. A lot of places you go with barbecue, it's all about the sauce. Here at Bogart's, it's all about the spice, the wood, the technique. We burn exclusively what's called a wild cherry. Cherry gives it a little good sweet taste because it's a fruit wood. It's basically the same cherry that furniture is made out of. So it gives off a little sweet flavor, nice mahogany color to the meat. So with the pit work, it's kind of a layering process. We'll set our baked beans, which cooked 12 to 14 hours underneath our brisket. So when the brisket starts heating up, it'll start melting into the beans. So the fat drippings and the spice drippings coming off the brisket end up in the pan of beans below. Someday it's a little spicy, someday it's a little sweet. It just depends on what love the briskets give up. From building grills at a young age to opening a carry-out place to traveling the world every single day of my life, smoked meat and barbecue just kept calling me. So I learned what other people do, and call it barbecue. I just kept, soaking it all up. I call it the osmosis factor because I was around it so much that, I just started picking up on stuff. No formal training other than working. What I advise people to do in the chef world is go find somebody you really admire and go to work for them. I've made a career out of spending short periods of time with great people. In the area that I grew up in, it was small family farms. We're in the Delta of Arkansas. Every farmer would throw a party, you know, and a lot of them had to do around barbecue. It's such a exciting and joyous time. I mean, everybody comes and they have a great time and they all brag about the food. What separates my mentality in barbecue cooking is that I insist that everything is fresh every single day. A lot of places, if they don't sell a rib, they're gonna take it the next day, they're gonna throw it on the char grill, they're gonna hit it with a little sauce, and they're gonna sell it to you. Well, to me, that is sacrilegious. It has to be the very best you can do. I think barbecue has always gotten its deserve. Anything that's great and special, people flock to. People travel the United States to eat barbecue. I never really heard them doing that with any other cuisine. And when people come into a barbecue restaurant, what they're looking for is the atmosphere, the party, the feel. Because if you come in here and nobody talks to you, it's just another pork sandwich.